Frenemies is a podcast series that was hosted on the H3 Podcast YouTube channel starring YouTubers Trisha Paytas and Ethan Klein. The podcast mostly spoke about controversies with celebrities or other YouTubers while the two gave their opinions but featured different segments, such as eating, trivia, contests, and games. It consisted of 39 episodes and lasted about 10 months. For the duration of the show, the two hosts, Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas, had gotten into many arguments, hence the title, Frenemies. Sometimes Ethan and Trisha would get along very well together, having an amazing dynamic, while other times the two would argue like siblings. The show coincidentally ended due to an argument that got out of control, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's start at the beginning.
On May 8th of 2019, Ethan Klein uploaded a video called Instagram vs. Reality to the H3H3 Productions YouTube channel. In this video, he reacted to a series of influencers' Instagram photos compared to what they look like in real life. One of these influencers being Trisha. Ethan compared a photo of Trisha without any makeup on to an open casket funeral.
Coachella versus open casket funeral.
Basically, he was calling her a corpse. Trisha responded by tweeting at Ethan, calling him a disgusting piece of shit. She also uploaded a video titled H3H3 is harming young girls. We will later discover she uses girls as a defense in many of her arguments.
Before starting Frenemies with Trisha, Ethan had her as a guest on the H3 podcast number 152. In this episode, Ethan talks about how Trisha keeps her controversial videos up.
You were even on the doctors on television saying, I don't even make money from that video.
Yeah.
But you do.
I don't.
Trisha says that Ethan is lying and that she doesn't know how to monetize videos, so it's not possible. Ethan takes it a step further by gathering proof and asking to see Trisha's analytics, where he finds the videos are, in fact, monetized.
Regarding my, I am transgender, 3 million views, green icon, monetized, and I'm going to tell you exactly how much money she made. She made $8,000 from that video.
Wait, you have to cut that because YouTube will literally take away my monetization. You can't say how much you made.
Ethan did not delete the clip, and unsurprisingly, her channel is still standing. So the question stands, did she say this just so that the world would never know about her monetized videos? Or was she truly concerned about the safety of her channel? We may never get the answer, however, it is speculated to be both.
When Frenemies first started, the beginning episodes made it clear that the two are not very comfortable with each other. Like in the first episode, Trisha seems to be more quiet compared to the later episodes, while Ethan seems to be more laid back, not walking on eggshells as seen later on, but coincidentally, they fought in the first episode. Trisha and Moses' relationship was brought up a lot. Moses is Ethan's brother-in-law, hence Ethan's concern. He had also set up Trisha and Moses through the H3 Bachelorette series, meaning it was his actions that caused them to get together.
Ethan had read private messages between Trisha and him about Moses. At first, this didn't seem like a big deal as Trisha gave Ethan permission to go through the messages so that she could prove her story.
And you started sending me all these crazy DMs with screenshot being like, your brother-in-law's fucking crazy, and he's sick, and he's fucking minors. And I was like, all right. And I was like, I'll pull out my phone and read the DMs.
I did not say minors. I can pull out my phone.
You said
and read the
underage.
DMs. No, I didn't.
You want me to get my phone?
Inappropriate age. Very young girls that are like 22. That's what I said. I never said underage. I know I didn't.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Here we go. Dude, I know we don't talk, but Moses is disgusting. I have no intention of making anything about this, but maybe check him talking to your fans. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
This is from a fat piece of shit fan of yours who is 23 and he fucked on Valentine's Day.
Don't say
He is
all
disgusting.
This. Yeah, 23? I said 23.
Yeah, hold on.
However, once she realized that she was wrong, she quickly gets upset.
Oh my God. Can we just stop altogether, please? This was already a point of contention. We're past it. Just stop.
Hang on.
I literally don't want to have a fight.
Here, you said he talks to underage girls.
No.
Right there. He talks to underage girls.
Where? I literally don't see it.
Right there. He talks to underage girls.
Trisha tries to think about why she said underaged, when the accused person was only 23 years old. I personally believe that she took her time to think about it so she could make up a lie. And she did try to lie to Ethan, but he did not accept her excuse.
That it
Think
says
of what that was. Yes, but this is a different situation. I'm talking about.
No, it's not. It's the same set of messages, girls.
It's a separate. It's a period.
It's not. It's look. It's 5/7, 10:30 p.m.
Later on in the same episode, Ethan goes on to discuss how Trisha has physically assaulted Moses. Here is some photographic evidence to go along with Ethan's claims. For the sake of the argument, I'm choosing to believe Ethan, as there is photo evidence for his argument, but no proof for Trisha's.
He said he broke up with you because you started like punching him.
He's shaking his head no.
Oh, okay. You said I could say everything.
I did not punch him. You said that's why you broke up with me, because I punched you? I'm going to have to say the full fucking story, because what happened is we were like upstairs and I took his phone. I saw like other DMs to girls. He like not tackled me, but like we went to the floor, and so then I like punched back, but I never punched him. I wasn't like, hey, you piece of shit. Like I wasn't like that.
You guys had a tussle?
He had bruises. So of course he's like, oh my God, like look. And I was just like, I didn't do it like on purpose. I wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It was a tussle.
You guys were fighting over his phone? Oh my God.
Now, it's hard to say who is telling the truth in this situation, as we have no clue what was happening behind the scenes. But the statement Trisha had made about Moses dating underage girls was most definitely false, which gives speculation that Trisha saying that she nudged Moses slightly was not true.
As the podcast continues to go on, you're able to see Trisha and Ethan become more comfortable with each other, as if they're like family. But not every family is perfect. Multiple episodes were home to many arguments and much bickering. Small arguments about Moses, the famous 5%, Trisha's odd fascination with Ethan's Tourette's and tics, Ethan speaking about Trisha's weight, which doesn't even make sense because Ethan makes fun of his own weight many times on the show as well, and finally, Trisha's fascination with the Jewish culture.
I hate it.
Jew! Look at the giant dreidel!
All these small arguments made their way to the big arguments, which caused Trisha and Ethan's relationship to be held back from developing any further. This is hard to see since Trisha and Ethan seemed to develop into better people throughout the podcast. Now, let's take a deeper dive into the drama.
As we had mentioned, there were many small fights between the two that led to 3 big arguments. These fights consisted of issues with the money agreement, cultural differences, a break of boundaries, disrespect of disabilities, and family drama. In regards to money, Trisha was never content about the deal Ethan bestowed upon her.
Not feel the deal is fair? Because I feel like it's more than fair.
I don't think so.
She complained about it for many episodes, starting with episode 2. The 5% difference in pay was a major breaking point for the podcast to
Trisha
end.
gets 45% of all the podcast revenue, including ads and AdSense. I get 55%. Guess who dropped like $50,000 on this setup and has all this gear and this guy and all these people working for me?
Even though Ethan has a crew to pay, he paid for the set, and the show was being hosted on his channel, Trisha stated that a 45-55 deal was not fair. Even though that deal seems more than fair, as most of the talent on any production do not get a deal as good as that. Early on, Trisha had complained about Ethan constantly messaging her about the show and asking if she had any topic ideas.
You guys remember back in the beginning of the show, she was complaining on the show that I was texting her too much, asking her too many questions, and wanting to involve her too much in the show. She told me not to bother her.
This led to Ethan arguing constantly about how she does nothing for the podcast aside from showing up. Trisha would give Ethan ideas like gymnastics, Dancing with the Stars, and pottery, but according to Ethan, they weren't realistic.
She says like, oh, I put out so many ideas. Here.
That, and he's like, well, you don't do anything, but I put up so many ideas for the show, and I like listed like aerial gymnastics, like Dancing with the Stars, like clay pottery and a thing, and I like.
Okay, so that's the extent of her involvement. She says, here's ideas. And I said, great, let's go to the fucking moon after that.
As for their arguments over culture, this is something a bit more complex. Trisha's father is a very religious man and had put Trisha in a Christian community college. Trisha does follow Christianity but has an odd fascination with the Jewish culture. She claims it's to support Moses, but also goes to say that Moses doesn't like to follow Judaism. She would constantly be talking about Jews and fetishizing them, which Ethan eventually had an issue with.
Star of David is not a fashion statement. It's the symbol of faith.
I believe in the Old Testament 100%. I know all those stories.
The
First of all, that person needs to get the stick out of their fucking ass. It's a Star of David. This is also what I hate about Christians and Jewish and everyone. I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm all of it. How about stop fucking judging? Stop judging people. Especially Jewish people. Y'all don't believe in hell. Where am I going? Why are you judging me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus, like, just we're all getting to heaven. Relax. Can I just say, I've been asking Moses to let me wear a hijab and he won't let me. He has a couple scarves and he won't let me wear it out in public.
Which one of the following celebrities is not Jewish?
He just won't look at his nose.
Yeah, I just want to look at his big, beautiful Jewish
Your nose is not big at all.
Okay, thanks, stereotype.
Ethan himself is a Jew, which is why he was offended by the things Trisha was saying. She would belittle Ethan's feelings by saying that Moses comes from Israel and that he said it's fine, but Ethan's from America.
You cannot say that. It's offensive.
Moses said it was fine, and he is from Israel and had a bar mitzvah, so he says it's fine. Like, Moses doesn't care. I run it by him.
First of all, I have to say, I'm also a bar mitzvah, and he's not a native English speaker, although he speaks English fluently.
Right.
He doesn't understand. It's not the Jews that get angry.
No, it's the American Jews that get angry, which aren't real Jews. You're like...
Ethan would constantly try to educate Trisha on why her actions were wrong, but she never listened. She had later announced that she was Jewish and Christian. But Ethan found that ridiculous and told her that being Jewish is not as easy as being Christian, and there is a long process.
I'm a Catholic. I don't believe in suicide. I believe I need to get to heaven. Like, I'm also Jewish too, but Catholic is.
She's not Jewish.
I'm converting.
Not that I care, but she's not.
Okay, well, I'm on my way to convert. My boyfriend's an Israeli Jew.
You don't have you wouldn't even make it a 100th of way through Jewish conversion. Those motherfuckers, they don't fuck around. It's not like, dunk, you're Jewish.
Okay.
Like the Christians go, dunk your ass, you're Christian now. It's not like that.
Apparently, Trisha did not follow through on this process, as she had made a very controversial TikTok, which is now deleted. And this outraged Ethan and many others, but we'll get to that later.
In addition to that, the two were constantly overstepping each other's boundaries. A small lighthearted fight between the two of them would be their slime fight video.
You piece of shit.
Wait, you're so angry right now.
You triggered.
Okay, all right.
You did it to me.
Some deeper, more serious fights include Ethan making comments about Trisha's relationship with Moses.
You guys talked about Moses and me.
Dude,
well before we did this podcast, you guys talked about us. Never once asked me anything.
No.
Or Trisha making comments about Ethan and Ela's family. Many times Trisha had said Moses wasn't close with his family.
And Moses doesn't like you, and you guys don't like him, and that's cool. I'm happy to
that you can't. That's stupid.
But it's true. It's so
well,
true.
that's fucked up. That's the kind of shit you say that makes Ela mad.
Which did upset Ethan because he felt the opposite. This also had ended up causing issues in their family because Moses' mom watches Frenemies. Sometimes Ethan would make jokes about his and Trisha's weight.
I think you're fat phobic.
Okay.
True or false?
What does that mean? That I don't like fat people?
I think you have a fear of fat people. Like, you don't like fat
fear?
people. Yeah.
What does that mean? Like I cower away from fat people?
Which usually landed well, but once in a while, Trisha would take it personal and get upset.
You did either a slip or a Freudian slip or whatever, where you were like, oh, you need to lose some weight. Not that you need to lose some weight. We should compete and lose weight. Like, you said something along those lines.
Trisha, I only said that because I know, based on all the conversation we have, that you expressed to me that you want to lose weight.
I would love to be skinny, but I'm also just happy and I don't really care about losing weight.
Fine,
just
then
give
I'm
me
happy
a
for you.
pill to be 100 pounds and I'll take it.
Okay.
But I don't want to do the work.
Okay. Right, me neither.
And I was happy and cool. But then after that episode,
but you're rewriting history.
I'm not rewriting history. I'm not saying it in a bad way.
Because back then we were like, we're losing weight together. And now you're like, I'm happy and fat.
I was very excited about it.
Trisha also chimed in about making weight jokes, but often got mad when Ethan would join in. Another time, Ethan and Trisha were talking about wrestling and how Trisha took that up in high school. She expressed how she would love to wrestle Ethan. He said that he didn't want to touch her body because it would be weird.
WWE WrestleMania, Ethan versus Trish.
No.
You're scared. I'm a good wrestler.
It's disgusting. I don't want to get on the floor and touch you.
You think guys are doing that for sexual gratification? Yeah.
You're talking about like grappling, Ethan, like real wrestling. But she's talking about like WWE.
Well, that doesn't have much content.
But guys,
I think it'd be super entertaining.
Guys that wrestle guys don't do it for sexual gratification.
I know, but like I'm not doing that with you.
That's a you problem. If you have such a problem that you can't touch another woman's body without it being sexual or weird, that's odd.
It's not.
He doesn't want to wrestle you. Just let it go.
It's just
It is.
It's just you.
No, it's literally you have a weird thing of not touching people. You're like very like have a sexual issue going on.
No.
Now prepare yourself because there's going to be a lot of gaslighting coming up.
I don't want to wrestle you. It's disgusting.
Did something happen to you as a child?
No.
I feel like something did.
Why? Because I don't want to wrestle you?
No, but you have a touching thing in general where you can't help.
Am
but
I
think it's
crazy
sexual.
for being uncomfortable wrestling Trisha? Do you find that odd?
No.
Thank you.
But why? I'm just trying to understand why. Because you're thinking of it as a sexual way. You're saying I don't want to touch you.
I just don't want to touch and roll around.
Okay,
with you.
because why? You think of it sexual? You think it's gross?
It's
What do you
just
say?
gross. It's like doing it with let's say, I just think it's gross. I don't. What do you want from me?
What continue? Like, let's say what? Doing it with who? You just think my body's gross, like you don't want to touch it.
I don't really want to wrestle anyone, to be totally honest.
You just said it's just you, and now you're changing your tone.
I was gonna say like a sister or something.
Okay.
Now, it didn't end there, but I just couldn't put you guys through any more of that. It's torture.
In my opinion, it would be totally weird, especially because Trisha's used to posting very derogatory tweets about Ethan and constantly asking him to make OF videos with her.
This brings up another argument. When Ethan was watching Trisha's skincare videos, he kept talking about how sexual everything looked.
Your self-love in a bottle.
why
the
was that
facial lip
sexual?
lab.
What?
Look at you're like, oh, look, 2 balls and a cock. It's like a giant
oh my
phallus.
God.
She got really upset about this, but later it turned into a bigger issue off the show. Ethan had been upset that Trisha had accused him of essentially committing sexual harassment in the workplace. Now, in other circumstances, I would agree with Trisha. What Ethan said was inappropriate, even as a joke. However, in the earlier episodes, Trisha kept pushing Ethan to get an OnlyFans account. She also asked multiple times for Ethan to shower with her while Moses and Ela watch.
Okay, let's talk about
OnlyFans? Our collab?
bro. I wouldn't do that for $1 billion.
Like a showering video? You wouldn't just shower with me, like take a shower.
You
Nothing
could-
sexual.
Not even for $10 million.
Could you imagine if we just stood next to each other naked in the shower, just like doing a shower, like
Why
washing
do you
our hair?
Why do you think anyone would pay for that?
They would. We could split the money. You love money. We talk about this. You are driven by money.
I don't love money that much. I wouldn't do it for any amount of money.
But like Ela and Moses could be there.
If
It's like not
if
weird.
Jeff
But like Ela and Moses could be there. It's like not weird.
If the shower part wasn't already weird, she wanted 2 siblings to watch their partners take a shower together. Yeah. In addition to this, Trisha has said that she thinks Ethan wants to have sex with her. And even though he said no, she insisted that he was lying.
Want to ask me a
You're like
yes or
turning
no
into-
question?
Do you think I'm hot?
No.
That's true.
Fake.
I'm hooked
No,
up.
no.
Ask
This
me
is so
something else.
fake.
Ask me something else.
Do
Come
you want to have
on.
sex with me?
Wow, really is just all about how much. Your mind is one place. No.
That is true.
That's such a lie. Like we know that's a lie. Like whatever.
No, I definitely don't want to fuck you. Trust
You
me.
definitely do.
She would compliment Ethan very often while Moses sat in a chair across from her. I feel like all of this added together makes sense why Ethan thought he would be able to make those jokes. Anyway, there was a lot of small weird things such as these which led me to believe that Trisha is so jealous of Ela because she has an attraction to Ethan.
Although there was that weird attraction, Trisha had made a lot of jokes about Ethan's Tourette's and tics. Ethan, on the other hand, would make fun of Trisha's mental disabilities. Now, the difference here is Ethan is very private about his Tourette's. He does not want his life or personality to be defined by his Tourette's. Trisha, on the other hand, chooses to display her mental disabilities or jumps online to make a video anytime she thinks about something may be wrong with her and that people might feel sorry for her. Trisha would constantly ask Ethan about his Tourette's, which first he was okay with, but slowly got aggravated as Trisha became more invasive about it. Trisha would always chalk up normal things Ethan does as Tourette's. She even diagnosed a man with Tourette's just because he was constantly swearing, and this really aggravated Ethan. He would constantly tell her to stop, but she kept digging at it.
It's just some shitty-ass listicle website.
Crap.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Tourette's are strong
It's
today.
not Tourette's. Stop.
It is because you can't control it. You
Oh my God,
literally
how
can't
do you
control.
know? You don't know anything.
I know because you can't stop. I'm like, okay, stop dramatizing. You just keep going with that.
Because it's funny. Stop. You're out of line.
Oh my God. It sounds like you have actual Tourette's. I know I always bring this up, but it does sound like you have Tourette's when you're screaming.
Excuse me. Trying to spread COVID everywhere.
Normalize
So at first,
Tourette's. How about that? Let's normalize Tourette's.
that wasn't a Tourette's tick.
Oh.
I was like,
What was it?
I was just coughing.
That's not coughing. That's like
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's meant to be ridiculous.
I love having a friend with Tourette's because now I can like have a soapbox for something like normalize Tourette's. Oh, your TikTok should be about having Tourette's, and like mine's all about being a fat girl. You should be like, oh, here's me with.
You want my entire identity to revolve around having Tourette's?
That's what you gotta do in this time.
I've been fine so far.
On social media, you gotta like go for a thing that people will feel sorry for you for. Brett has Tourette's. It's kind of funny.
My bread has Tourette's. Can you want to explain what that means?
That's like your physical. That's like the bread's version of your hand because it's like fun. We can make Tourette jokes about the bread and stuff.
I mean, you're making all the jokes.
Ethan, on the other hand, would call her crazy in earlier episodes and say there's definitely something wrong with her. She seemed okay about it, but later exploded and got mad about it.
You're crazy.
I hate people like that try and tell me I don't have something.
No, you definitely have something. Trust me. You think she's sane? I feel that you're crazy, but I don't think you're a douche. What's wrong with you?
We love a thing. Look at
What's wrong with you? That explains all this.
Hey, I turned out fine.
You saying turned out fine. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, okay.
You're way crazier than me.
That's the difference between them. Ethan knows when to stop and apologize for his actions, while Trisha doesn't.
Something Trisha always said from the first big fight is that Ethan never apologizes. And this is just so not correct. There's literally so much proof of Ethan apologizing, even for things he shouldn't have to apologize for.
I do think you're a good person, and I am sorry for calling you crazy.
Cool.
So I was wrong about that. So yeah, I do apologize. That's not who you are, because you were very forthcoming about that issue. I watched the episode back because I was like, gee, what happened? And I do think that I was, giving you a hard time a lot. So I can definitely understand why. I have a lot to apologize for sure.
No, you did apologize.
Yeah, I am sorry. I didn't like the way that the podcast ended. I felt really bad. I think Trisha's right. Hila should have reached out and said something. That was not fair of me to spring that on you the way I did.
Trisha, on the other hand, rarely apologizes.
Trisha usually thinks her opinion is the only correct one. She told Ethan she apologizes for nothing during their first big fight. She also did not apologize to AB. Instead, she kept talking badly about him after their argument, bringing us to the next issue.
Not only did Trisha have problems with Ethan on the show, she also created drama with the crew, starting off with one member specifically, AB. This fight started when AB was doing a debate-type segment on the podcast and suggested that David had probably planned the video that his buddy Seth said was not planned.
Like this super secret mastermind, or is he just this dumb kid?
Basically, David posted a distasteful video of Jason kissing Seth, but Seth thought that Jason was a woman. And that's super messed up, I know.
We pulled a prank on my friend Seth. It's probably the best prank I've ever pulled on anyone. We have this scary mask that we've been pranking people with. I told Seth, hey man, I want to do this bit. It's like a dream sequence where you make out with the mask guy and it just looks like you're dreaming and you're making out with an old man. Because the mask makes you look like an old man. And I'm like, Corinna's going to be in it. And Corinna's a girl in my vlog. So he's like, yeah, I'm totally down. What Seth didn't know is that I replaced Corinna with Jason.
Trisha said that he was victim blaming and called AB harsh names. AB quickly admitted his fault as death threats and hate swooped in.
That I was completely wrong for the statements I made. I believe that my intentions were pure and rooted in doing the right thing, but I'm sure the majority of people have done something wrong believe that. I'm sorry to everyone who is offended. Sincerely, I can't tell you guys how much it hurts knowing I let so many people down. I never meant to victim shame. But unfortunately, I realize now that my arrogant actions came off that way. I was trying to play devil's advocate because I thought it was the right thing to do, but unfortunately, I didn't realize how deep the conversation would go, and I was not educated on the severity of what I was speaking on. I am so grateful for all the beautiful people who kindly explained to me what was wrong with what I said. The only positive aspect of my bad take is the fact that I'm glad that it brought to my attention my own flaws, and hopefully it could help others be more cautious when talking about such a sensitive topic. The amount of nasty comments and hate I've been getting across all my social media is insane. I've been told multiple times to kill myself and that I should be fired. I may deserve the backlash, but deserve it or not, I'm still human and it hurts. Trisha, I fully support you and I'm sorry for being insensitive. I felt bad, like, Lena seeing it too. Like, I heard Lena in the bathroom. Like, she was trying to hide from me, but she was tearing up. And that's kind of what broke me.
Trisha has since deleted that video, but here's a clip I found from YouTube.
I feel like anyone who keeps up with David or is familiar with his content knows that everyone kind of talks to each other in a certain way. It's kind of built off.
You know Trisha's going to murder you, right?
I believe it's in these situations, it's that they're being told one-sided.
Before you continue, I just want to know what you're getting yourself into.
The dumbass AV from the H3 podcast called David Dobrik Debate. Now, he's a complete ass. Like, he's a complete dumbass. Like, it's not even an asshole. He's a complete dumbass because he's actually sweet in person. He's just an idiot. Dipshit. This was my real freaking life. AV is such an idiot. Then he goes on to say, well, Trisha also made jokes being obsessed with David and stuff like that. One, yes, they were jokes. Two, no one ever said that they were uncomfortable with it.
Anyway, I obviously did not agree with AB's take considering how far David goes for his video and jokes, but I would not have gone as far as Trisha.
You knew exactly what was coming and what was happening. It was so gross to me. I didn't like it.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
Okay, well, I don't think so. His opinions were that, and that showed his true colors, and that was disgusting. So I know that's his true colors. Don't even want that around me. You're backtracking with it now.
The problem is he's my employee, and like I care about him, his well-being. He's a good guy, you know. I think in the moment he got caught up in trying to make these like impassioned arguments.
He did a generic apology because people were like hating on him because people loved AB and now they hate him. I think he learned his lesson to just not be stupid online. Like, but that's his real beliefs, and it showed, and it was disgusting.
I would also like to take note that he kind of praised Trisha for her video.
Actually, I want to say before I watched this that I was very proud of Trisha because as far as her responses go, this was probably like her most calm and rational and reasoned response.
Except for maybe wanting to, like, kill AB.
I think AB handled it very well.
But it wasn't just AB who had tension with Trisha. Trisha created a feud with other members as well. In the second episode, she stated that she didn't like it when Ian and Zach spoke during the podcasts.
I liked Ian here. I don't want to replace him with Ian. I don't like the other two when they comment on the H3.
This doesn't really make any sense, as Ian, Zach, and other members usually jump into the conversation, making the podcast run smoother with the crew's opinions. She even called members stupid interns.
You're stupid interns.
This is just disrespectful to Ethan's crew/friends. There has been so many instances of Trisha saying rude things about the crew. Here are some clips.
Being the rude one because I was saying they were like losers and I didn't want them taking our show. I don't necessarily like Zach, but everyone else is fine. But we love everyone here.
Except Zach.
I would have said last year when I first met him.
Yeah.
2019, I would have considered Dan douchebag of the year, but 2020 he was killing it.
It's been a theory internally.
Is it AB because he's an idiot? But AB's cool, you know. He's not like
he's great.
And they're like dorky. I don't like this segment. Just for the record, fan advice is a stupid segment.
Why?
But we can do it. It's so dumb. What's the point? You're saying you have all this crew that does all this work for you, and nobody could remember that you talked about that 2 days prior.
Now let's make one thing clear. She wasn't always rude to the crew. She would sometimes be nice to them, but she never was nice to Zach. Regardless, I would like to show you some of these sweet clips.
Ian did a great set design.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Dan's always amazing. Like, everyone's amazing here. Like, I love, except for, I don't know, Zach.
Well, Ian works for me, so calm down. I do pay him.
Well, tell them they can have whatever link they want. On time to replace a mine this week. This is so cool.
Okay.
Now, even these small remarks regarding the crew made a significant role in their final argument. Stay tuned for part 2, where we will be analyzing their 3 big fights.